Texans let us down, man. They let us down. Now, it's up to the Bills, dude. And I don't trust them. I don't trust them with the task. Dude, this conference championship is going to be crazy if somehow. Oh, I mean, why? Why the Chiefs, bro? Why? Let's get into these games. First off, we have the Texans going into Kansas City. C.J. Stroud didn't really, come to play. 245, no touchdowns, no picks. Mahomes not that much better. 177, a touchdown, no picks. Joe Mixon couldn't get things fully going. He had some big plays, but nothing, to keep the ground game going. 88 yards, a touchdown. C.J. Stroud. 42 rushing yards. Dameon Pierce only 10. Kareem Hunt had double the yards as Pacheco, and he had a touchdown. Only 13 combined carries between the two. Joe Mixon with 18, Dameon Pierce with 4. This game was just slow-paced. No crazy big plays or anything like that. Nico Collins was hurt, playing into the playoffs, actually. 81 yards, Dalton Schultz 63, Travis Kelce 117 and a touchdown, Xavier Worthy 45. Literally no one else caught the ball. That's it. Only one offensive touchdown through the air and one rushing touchdown with the Kareem Hunt. This was, like I said, a slow-paced game. Joe Mixon had the lone touchdown. But that's pretty much it. This was a very basic game. But yeah. This was you can't win in the playoffs scoring one touchdown. They had 2 field goals. But, you got to do more against the Chiefs in the playoffs. You just can't go out there and score 14 points and expect to win the game. That's just not how it's going to work. Wasn't a lot of help on the Texans side with the amount of terrible calls that the Chiefs were able to get from the refs this game. It was brutal, man, watching that over and over, and, actually finally get to see some of these, teams talk about and people talk about how they finally saw it, because, a lot of people, they probably just think like, oh, the Chiefs get these calls, blah, blah, blah. But then they go watch a different game instead. Now that everyone has no choice but to watch the Chiefs in the playoffs, they can see where every other fan base is coming from. They get horrible calls, big advantages, home or away. It just doesn't make sense. So, it was kind of good to see, shed some light on it, but Texans weren't able to get the job done. So it's up to the Bills, and we'll see what happens. Speaking of the Bills, we're skipping straight to Sunday night. I guess Sunday afternoon. Ravens went to Baltimore. Lamar had 2 touchdowns, a fumble, and a pick. 254 total yards. 117. No touchdowns, no picks for Josh Allen. Derrick Henry had 84 yards and a touchdown, only on 16 carries. Typically, you want to see him in the 20 at least. James Cook 1767, no touchdowns. Ray Davis had a short touchdown though. Justice Hill 50 yards. Lamar Jackson 39. Isaiah Likely came in clutch this game, 73 total yards and a touchdown. Khalil Shakir 63. Rashawn Bateman 66 and a touchdown. James Cook 15. Mark Andrews 61. Matt Collins only 12 and Dalton Kincaid 11 combined for 2 catches. This was a very bland game, just turnovers over turnovers for the Ravens. Mark Andrews lost a fumble. Lamar Jackson lost a fumble. Tyron Wallace dropped a fumble. And not to mention Mark Andrews dropping the game-winning game-tying pass that would have sent it into overtime, potentially. But yeah, I mean, the Ravens just lost the game. Mistakes all over the place. Looked like they were playing too much fast-paced football. Those 3 turnovers obviously lost them the game. Lamar, losing it. Mark Andrews dropping the game-tying pass. I believe Justin Tucker missed a field goal. I think, let me confirm actually. No, he did not. Must be a different game. Either way, the Ravens just didn't come to play. This was they scored 25. In reality, they probably could have scored 40. The Bills didn't play great. I would say they just took advantage of the turnovers, slowed the clock down, but they should have lost this game. And both these teams, the way that they played, don't make me feel confident if they had to play the Chiefs. So the Bills have to play the Chiefs. I'm not seeing them winning that game, but man, let's hope they do win that game. Next, we're going on to the Commanders going to Detroit. Honestly, I low-key thought this was an upset of a game. The Commanders scored 45 total points, 31 in the first half. They were on fire. The Lions also scored 21, in the first half, which was also just a really great. This was an entertaining Saturday game. Let's get that out the way first. This was a very entertaining game. Jane Daniels, 300, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Jared Goff, 313, a touchdown and 3 picks. Jared Goff was the main reason the Lions lost this game. Brutal turnovers, horrible interceptions. I mean, those don't happen. The Lions easily win. For whatever reason, Jared Goff at the very end of the season plays horrible, and that is a continued thing. I do believe he did play a little injured this game, towards at least the end, just because they did momentarily take him out, put Teddy Bridgewater back in there, do one pass for 3 yards. But yeah, Jameson Williams also threw a pick. So four total turnovers. Just a brutal offensive performance, honestly, by the Lions. I put this on the play calling rather than just Jared Goff. But yeah, Brian Robinson, 77 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jahmyr Gibbs, 105 and 2 touchdowns. Jameson Williams also had a 61-yard rushing touchdown. Jane Daniels had 51. Honestly, this was just a great game by the Commanders' offense in general. Denami Brown, 98. McLaurin, 87 and a touchdown. Had a 58-yard catch. Mossy Brown, 137. Jahmyr Gibbs, 70. Sam Laporta, 51. Tim Patrick with 22. And only Tim Patrick and Jameson Williams had a combined 41 yards on 2 catches. You can't just give them two targets. 2 catches. Keep in mind, they did get a total of 8 targets, only brought in 2. But, yeah, this was just a poor performance by the Lions, and the Commanders just took full advantage of it. Scored in every quarter except the third, but did tons of damage in the second quarter with 28 points. Detroit scored in all the quarters, but just a touchdown, 14 points, another touchdown, and 3 points at the end. So the 4 turnovers really were the determining factor for this game, and ultimately what caused the Lions to lose this. So we got the Lions eliminated from the playoffs. Another year they will not make a Super Bowl appearance. Now it's the Commanders versus the Eagles. The Rams going into Philadelphia, it was a snowy game. This was a game that honestly was a lot closer than it should have been, in my opinion. The Eagles should have the Rams just blew them out easily. But the Rams their defense was solid this game for, the later half of it. But Matthew Stafford had 324, 2 touchdowns, no picks, had a great game. Jalen Hurts, 128, no touchdowns, no picks. Kyron Williams, 106, no touchdowns. Saquon had 205, 2 touchdowns. Completely took over this game. Jalen Hurts, 7 carries for 70 yards and a touchdown. Kenneth Gainwell also had 1 carry for 10 yards. Puka, 97. Demarcus Robinson, 74. Cooper Kupp had 61. Tyler Higbee had the lone passing touchdown. Had the one of two. Kobe Parkinson was the other one. Tutu Atwell, 18, and Jordan Whittington, 12. A lot of people, got the ball here. Between 26 catches, there was 8 total targets. So the ball was being spread around quite a bit. Dallas Goedert had 56. Saquon had 27 for a total of 232 total yards of offense. MVP of the game, obviously, Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown combined only had 35 total yards, no touchdowns, 35 yards on a total of 6 catches with 11 targets. So, this was a run-based game, Saquon-type game. If Saquon doesn't do half as good, Rams easily win this game. They just could not stop Saquon, and that's what ultimately lost them the game. So we have the Eagles and Commanders NFC East, NFC Championship game. Pretty entertaining. Whoever, comes out on top has to be the Eagles. Has to be the Chiefs. That's just what it comes down to. But yeah, this was a brutal week for football. We have to see yet another Chiefs potential Super Bowl, and it's just not going to be great. First off, both of the games are on Sunday. We have the Commanders and Eagles facing off first. I do have the Eagles winning that game. I just feel like the first time they got to play them, the second time they got to play them, it wasn't really fair because they had Jalen Hurts go down, and they lost just because of a Devontae Smith drop. So I have the Eagles bouncing back from that second game. Buffalo and Kansas City, I just can't see the Bills winning this game. They just can't beat the Chiefs. It's just destiny. It's their kryptonite. They can't do it. The only time they can beat the Chiefs is in the regular season. They've literally never beat them in the playoffs, and I don't see them ever doing that. Either way, best believe I'm going for the Bills, but they're not going to win that game. I will see y'all in the next video for the conference championship and Super Bowl predictions. I am not ready because I don't want to see a Chiefs Super Bowl again. Please be the Bills-Eagles. That would be super entertaining. If it's the Commanders-Chiefs, I'm not watching it. That is by far the worst possible matchup. But we will see. Either way,